There are like about 40 gazillion exchange traded funds out there, maybe 50 gazillion. I don't know. There's a million. And there's a lot of them that are like very straightforward. They cover an index, and others which capture a particular segment of the market that you might not have even thought of as a segment of the market. Today, we're going to talk about one that is truly out of this world, in that it focuses on the potential links to alien technology. I mean, come on, I get this pitch. How can I say no to talking about something so completely absurd? Matthew Tuttle is chief executive of Tuttle Capital. He has filed for an ETF that invests in companies with these kinds of links, and he joins us now from Greenwich, Connecticut to talk about it. Hello there.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Do you have other investing interests that are a little bit more mainstream, or are you a full-on nutter like 9 to 5?
Yeah, I'm a full-on nutter, let's say 9 to 2.
9 to 2, and then 3 hours of
into the close, I get a little bit more normal.
right.
But
Then you're
during
like,
the day,
okay,
I'm pretty
there's an
wacky.
AI ETF, or there's one that covers cannabis stocks or whatever. Okay, so what on earth, pun intended, what on earth is this ETF that you're talking about?
So we've had a bunch of stuff happen over the past 8 years. We had the video of fighter pilots chasing a craft that had technology beyond anything we've seen. We've had people testifying to Congress that we've been retrieving those vehicles and reverse engineering them. And then we've got the president and bipartisan agreement in Congress to disclose what we know about this stuff. So my thought is we could be sitting on game-changing technology. And if we are, and it's released into the public, forget about the internet boom, forget about AI. It will be the biggest investing game changer we've ever seen.
The technology is, as I understand it, in the hands of government at this point. Where will it be, or is it already in the hands of someone who could commercialize something or make some money off it?
So if I had to guess, because we've not gotten full disclosure, I would say that it is in a small handful of compartmented programs at defense contractors. And if that is disclosed, specifically what I'm interested in is the energy source, because you've got a whole lot of people out there that don't like fossil fuels. If it's disclosed that we have an energy source that is unlimited and clean, there will be so much clamor to release it that there won't be any choice.
So how do you pick the names that go into the basket here?
So, some of it is going to remain to be seen because, some companies, assuming this technology gets released, are going to jump on it, and some companies are going to get trampled. My initial thought is the defense contractors become the new Magnificent Seven because they've got control over it. My other initial thought is anything old energy, oil, coal, natural gas, those companies basically over time go to zero unless they can somehow adapt what they're doing. And then you're looking at kind of the other areas like who in the car industry is going to be able to adapt. My guess is Elon Musk, most likely. And, you'd look at kind of other industries who are going to be the winners, who are going to be the losers. Some of it's going to remain to be seen, but the ones I just gave you are kind of the obvious plays.
So would the ETF include long and short positions then? You're shorting traditional energy?
So I normally hate combining long and short in an ETF, but the short positions are probably even better than the long positions. So yes, we will be doing both.
What are some names that might be familiar to our audience that we like? Oh, okay, he's talking about this. What would be names that are in the public consciousness that might be in the basket here?
Right. I mean, you figure if someone's got this technology, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman,
Right.
and then on the inverse side, I mean, Exxon, Chevron, all those guys, I mean, they need oil at a certain amount or else they've got problems.
Right. So you go to a cocktail party and people are say, "Hey, Matthew, what are you working on?" And you tell them what you are actually working on. What's the reception? How skeptical are people, or do they think, "Wow, he's a bit of a nutter from 9 to 2, but I can kind of get it"?
So it depends if they know me or not, because we've done a lot of weird ETFs. So, some people would just be like, oh, Tuttle's doing it again.
Here he goes again.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly, though, I'm getting people who are, saying, hey, I could never really talk about this, but this is really cool. I'm also having some strange people reach out to me as well, as you would expect.
Uh, for you personally, is this an investment, or do you really believe that there are societies, cultures, technology out there that do not originate on this planet?
I believe it is out there. I believe that we have it. I do not know whether we will get full disclosure or not. If you look at what happened with the drones, we got just enough to get us to stop asking questions, but not enough to really know what was going on. And I'm afraid that's what may happen. But if we are sitting on this technology, I mean, you can't sit on it forever. Eventually you've got to figure it's got to be released in some way, shape, or form. And I'm an investor. I mean, the moment I see it, I'm going to be jumping on this personally.
Right. What's the approval process look like? Because I say tongue in cheek how skeptical I am. Not tongue in cheek, I actually am skeptical, but that's kind of like the playful part of it. Do ETFs just by and large get approved regardless of how outside the lines they might be perceived as?
They don't. The SEC has a process. They take 75 days. I'll certainly get some questions that, we're going to have to answer. But typically as long as you dot your I's and cross your T's and you're not, investing in something that like could go to zero the moment it gets released, I think we got a pretty good chance.
What total asset pool do you need to have in order for this to be profitable based on the management expense ratio that you'll charge?
Yeah. So we've got the lowest cost platform out there. So I really only need 20 million, maybe even a little bit less in there, to be slightly profitable. And my guess is, again, if this technology is disclosed, this is the investment opportunity of all of our lifetimes. I'm not worried about asset levels.
Uh, who is your dream endorser? Is it, I don't know, Sigourney Weaver from Alien? Is it someone from the Star Trek crew? Who are the people you're fantasizing will add their signature of support?
Yeah, I mean, on the entertainment side, William Shatner would be really cool. Huge Star Trek fan growing up.
Yeah.
Still think the original Star Trek is probably the best TV show ever made.
Uh-huh.
And then, on the corporate side, I mean, I think Elon Musk knows more than he's letting on. So it'd be cool to get him to opine on this as well.
Very interesting. All right, just before we go here, so this is a curiosity. This is not something that you would probably recommend people put 90% of their retirement savings in. Is that fair?
Not unless we actually get disclosure. If we actually get disclosure, it's going to reshuffle the entire deck. And everybody is going to have to react to it because you're going to have a bunch of companies that go from being valuable to not. So, it's definitely something that, again, if we do get this disclosure, you're going to have to react to in some way, shape, or form.
The world of all of that has changed dramatically with the arrival for President Trump's second term. Elon Musk, you've mentioned, is playing a very prominent role in government. Is your hypothesis, given the culture of this administration, that they may be more amenable to disclosure than prior administrations?
I think this is the best chance we've ever had. you've got the administration and bipartisan support and I mean, the only thing Congress can agree on is release the UFO files. So I think it's the best chance we've ever had.
Do you have a name for this ETF?
Yes, it's the Tuttle Capital UFO Disclosure ETF, something like that. UFOD is the symbol.
Yeah, UFOD. Really interesting stuff. Matthew, thank you for joining us today to talk about it.
Thank you for having me.
Matthew Tuttle, CEO of Tuttle Capital. He was here to talk about the UFO ETF. And as playful as I am about it, I can understand the case of where there could be money to be made related to alien technology.